Pleasant good afternoon to all St. Lucians, especially my people of Dennery South, the people in the diaspora. I am extending special good afternoon to you. And it's a wonderful opportunity for me to take this moment to address you 3 days before the general elections. And I'm sure you recall in June of 2020, I accepted the offer to be the endorsed candidate for Dennery South under a St. Lucia Labour Party government. I accepted this candidacy because I felt that I was going to be part of a team of competent men and women of labor. And further, I have been really concerned about the situation that confronts us in Dennery South for many years. I have lived and gotten involved in so many community development activities in Dennery South. And that includes me serving on committees like the Dennery Disaster Committee, the All Blacks Veterans Club, my involvement in the church. I served as board member of the Further Development Foundation, board member of the Dennery Development Foundation, and I have been involved in many other activities which have really allowed me to build that interest, love, and commitment to help the people of Dennery. I served in the public service for about 34 years, and I left as the Chief Forestry Officer. During that time, I gained tremendous leadership qualities, capacity that I think has really prepared me to really address the problems that confront our people in Dennery South at the parliamentary level. And my decision to run as candidate for Dennery South stems from my concern for the well-being of the people of Dennery South. Dennery South has tremendous challenges, problems that confront us. And the one that is really painful to me is the unemployment among our young people. Too often we see hundreds of our young people leaving school every year. But there is no program or very little programs available to really prepare them for the world of work. And under the St. Lucia Labour Party government, you've heard many times that Philip J.P. has been advocating the formation of what we call a new ministry for the young people. Youth ministry for the young people. I am going to take the opportunity as the next parliamentary rep, come the 26th of July, to ensure that there is a proper program in place to ensure that our young unemployed people get the skill set that they need to prepare them for employment opportunities, not just in the private sector, but in government. That skills training program will also seek to help our young people get into the entrepreneurship activities, to help them start up their own business, to help them become their own boss, to ensure that they can earn and generate sufficient income to take care of themselves and their families. Under the Youth Economy Ministry, the St. Lucia Labour Party has indicated that it will allocate 25 million EC dollars for that activity, which is geared towards helping our young people get access to funding for the businesses. Funds will be allocated to help our young people to market the products and to be able to ensure that they can make a viable income from sale of the products. This is a tremendous opportunity for our young people to take advantage of enrolling in the programs and other activities that the St. Lucia Labour Party will seek to undertake to ensure that it achieves this goal. And Dennery South will not be left out. We've seen in the past very few of our young people gain technical skills. How many young carpenters we have in Dennery South? How many young persons we have are into plumbing, electrician, masonry, and others? I believe that it is an excellent opportunity for our young people, because I do not think the way to go is by giving or offering our young people and other residents of Dennery South contracts. Contracts are not sustainable, because you may get it today and may have to wait years before you can get another one. But by giving the young people the skills that they deserve, it will create sustainable employment for them. Another very serious challenge that confronts us in Dennery South is the issue of land ownership. Moi savons la chay moun qui a été la Pointe, Limay, la Caille, Green Mountain qui a occupé tes gouvernements. C'est moun salari kokay, maçon, kokay. Combien de temps vous avez été dans la cité ça là? Mais il n'y a pas ni pièces, papier, titre pour cette ça là. Bon, imaginez si vous avez un petit peu à l'école ou vous voulez à l'université. Et vous dites, seulement si vous avez une opportunité, c'est pour aller à des banques là, anti-loan, à ce cas là, pour moi, c'est un anti-loan pour vous. Mais because vous pas on terre, banque là, that you pass up of loan, ça c'est opportunité to pay. And under the St. Lucia Labour Party, I will bring the proud program into Dennery South to undertake a land regularization program. Côté nous kaisa apprenti c'était ça that nous occuper et nous kaisa offert à un prix qui raisonnable. So après ça, nous kaisa dit that we own en Church Saint Lucie. Our fishermen continue to suffer. Et là on a d'aitoua. Écoutez, nous parlons du gouvernement, point, fishing complexe là pour vous. Et que vous baillez l'autre monde manager. Nous savons, ces pêcheurs, tenus en manière pour quitter caillou, tous les moments de bonnet. De les faire combien de temps à la mer, but when they get to port, they still have to struggle to go out to the various communities to sell the fish. You've heard Philip J. Pierre indicated that once the St. Lucia Labour Party gets in office on July 27, he will remove the $1.50 tax that was placed on the gas for the fishermen. This is wonderful. But the St. Lucia Labour Party will also conduct a review of the marketing structure of the sale of fish and to find ways of providing storage facility for our fishermen to store their fish. We will look to encourage more young persons to get into fishing, but to also create opportunities for access to funding for them to get their boats. This is wonderful, and I'm just hearing that this morning some agreement was signed where a particular company, I think Rainforest, that's a private company, was given a list of 15 years privatization of our fish marketing corporations and our fishing facilities. That includes Viewfort, Dennery, and Castries. In addition to that, it will take them 10 years. They have 10 years before they can pay 1 cent. So it means nous can point ça c'est péché à tenir et que nous can mettre en la main moun qui wish. So nous can faire bagay plus mauvais by ces péchés à passer derrière. I want to state that in 1999, many of our Denrians suffered as a result of the closure of Bell Fashions. And I remember that then Honorable Minister Damian Graves was very, very concerned about a replacement for Bell Fashion in terms of creating economic activity in Dennery South. Moi changer, nous discuter qui ça nous a mené Dennery. Et nous commençons the Dennery Village Fish Festival in 1998. Ça résulté à une activité nous crier Saturday Night Fish Fiesta exotique avec combien 1000 monde qui sorti tout partout en pays pour venir participer à l'activité ça là. We started in 2000 and we had 21 vendors. But the activity deteriorated to the point that we only have 2. In 15 years, we saw no intervention from our MP in terms of getting to develop or improve the deteriorating activity. And I remember the fishermen having to benefit tremendously by selling the fish to the vendors, the small supermarkets where the vendors had to buy their groceries, the person selling the ice, the persons selling the drinks. The spin-off effect was tremendous in the village, and you've seen a deteriorating activity. But I want to guarantee the people of Dennery South that when I become the next MP, this will be my number one priority. We've seen the problems that our farmers face in agriculture. They spend quite a bit of time on the farms, cultivating the land, investing in products like the Gromoxone, the fertilizer, producing the crops, producing the plantains, producing the vegetables, but they struggle with a market. We've seen in recent years in Dennery South, since the collapse of the banana industry, most of our farmers have left. And we've seen a high quantity of abandoned lands in places like Basel, Bois-Joli, Lofowe, and Bodley. But guys, food security is very important for any nation. Food security is one of the 17 sustainable development goals that St. Lucia signed on to. You have to feed your nation. But St. Lucia and the rest of the Caribbean is already suffering from what we call a very high food import bill. We have to address this problem locally, and it is my intention to encourage young persons to get into agriculture. And by doing so, we have to provide them the incentives, we have to provide them the technical support, and we have to ensure that the market is available for them to sell the produce so that they don't reach a level of frustration as a result of not being able to sell. We know the flooding issue that confronts us for decades and decades. Tout l'année, bolé comme ça. Moun Atilaouia, côté Lorraine Kawiti, côté Ziakawiti, Toilo, toutes ces places-là qu'a fait l'eau passé, c'est un preuve chepoué. C'est mon année pour Kamop, la boue les chaises, la boue les couches. Et tous les gouvernements ont fait un effort. Il y a aussi un canal aussi. Il y a certaines parties côté de flooding qui a fait là aussi. Il y a un canal Gondi. But I do not think that is going to adequately address the problem. We've seen an expansion of housing and settlement in places like Green Mountain, Rocky Lane, but we've not established or put in place the necessary drainage system to ensure that that water does not flow in the village because you already have a problem in the village. Mon question qui est important, c'est pour nous ensure that nous deal with situation head on. And I think What is important is that we have to ensure that we put a system in place. For example, it may be a holding pond where that water coming from Rocky Lane may have to be placed in some area before it gets into the village, or we may have to divert that water from the Rocky Lane into certain parts of Asconot and later on release it slowly into the sea. Dennery village is always known to be below sea level, and with the impacts of climate change, we must bear in mind, we must always remember that with sea level rise, that situation can get worse. We may have to consider in future moving people from parts of the village to other high grounds and to use that space in the village as recreational space for young people to enjoy. My brothers and sisters, we are preparing for an election. I am very confident that the St. Lucia Labour Party with Philip J. will win the next elections. But we cannot do it without Dennery South. For 15 years, we've seen Dennery South, but we see some infrastructural works. We've seen drainage works being done, but I do not believe that we have adequately addressed the social issues in Dennery South, and that includes Lakai and Limay. Ces single mothers là en Lakai Limay et Dennery qui still souffert pour leave l'école. When you go to places like the Daito, you see so many young people there have nothing to do, nothing to turn to but to expect to get something from the fishing port, from either the cleaning of the fish or helping in some way the wholesalers to get something in the pocket. This is not what we deserve in Dennery South. I forgot to mention that we've started a program since August last year where we have been assisting the really needy people with housing material. Ek lanin moun ou sav nou hawede, nou an fe kay nef bay sante moun. Ek nou an spend an chay la jan ka wede se moun nan hen ti matuyo kon galvanize kon plywood poto. And that has been a very good project from what we've getting on the ground in terms of feedback. And this program will continue and continue, and it will really help to improve the housing stock in Dennery, to improve the housing condition in Dennery, Lakai and Limay. My brothers and sisters, I am in this thing for every single person in Dennery South. It is not about SLP, it is not about UWP, it is not about the Green Party, it is about everybody. My vision is to make Dennery South the envy of other constituencies, and I need every person in Dennery South to do it. We have to work together. We have to put the politics aside and work in the interests of our people. I understand your struggles. I have been there with you. But at the end of the day, I want all the citizens of Dennery South to prosper with Prospere. I see that change is coming. I see that change is near. 3 days away, I know that change will come. We will have a St. Lucia Labour Party in government. I know at this time, we see lots of money is being spent on the ground. And I want you to accept the money, but don't be fooled by it. The last few months, when COVID started, I saw suffering, I saw people struggle, people had no money to buy food. There was no money coming from the party. There was no money coming from the MP. But all of a sudden, days before election, we've seen hundreds of thousands of dollars being offered to you just in an attempt to fool you. My people of Dennery South, you know better. You all are very intelligent and smart people. you should not be paid to vote. But my message to you is, take whatever is given to you, but on that day, vote for the party who will put you first. Vote for the party who cares about you. Vote for Philippe J. because this man is so different to Chasney in terms of understanding the plight of our people. I urge you to prepare for Monday's election and vote for Alfred Stavage Prospere. Thank you very much for taking time to listen, and I wish you a very good afternoon. Thank you very much. Miss me, I know.